The state capitol with the scandal involving a Georgia state representative. The Democrat facing federal charges now for fraud involving pandemic-era unemployment benefits. Let's get out to our Deidre Dukes, who's standing by live. Deidre, you spoke to the Secretary of State's office today about a pending special election to fill these seats.
Yeah, to fill several seats here in the state of Georgia, across the state, actually, because so many lawmakers are resigning for personal or professional reasons. We're joining you now from DeKalb County, Tom. As you said off at the top of the show here at the 3 o'clock hour, here in DeKalb County, residents just are rocked to their core by news that one of their state lawmakers resigned suddenly just yesterday amid some federal fraud charges that she is now facing. That representative is Democratic State Representative Sharon Bennett. A federal grand jury indicted the Georgia lawmaker on fraud charges on Monday. Now, she allegedly obtained nearly $14,000 in fraudulent pandemic unemployment benefits, and it's the latest in a string of legislative resignations in recent months, with several lawmakers leaving office for personal reasons or to pursue higher office. And this has triggered a wave of special elections across the state. And as of Tuesday, we were told that 5 special elections in Georgia are either underway, that would include out in Cherokee County. They're scheduled or awaiting the official order from Governor Kemp to formally call the election. That, of course, includes one of the highest profile races, that of the seat vacated by Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene late last year. We learned this afternoon that the special election to replace her is slated for March 10th. Now, I asked the elections officials today what impact these special elections could have on residents who, in some cases, find that their lawmakers having resigned, that they have no representation at the state level at this time. Here's what they had to say.
There's so many factors at play. The law differs between if we're in session and if we're out of session. Right now we're out of session, even though that it starts next week, and so that changes the timeline a little bit. But I would expect in the coming weeks that we're going to get the writ for the special election, and then we'll place the call, and then there has to be that 3 weeks of early voting. Of course, that plays into the timeline, and then election day, and then one of the important factors determining when a person gets seated once they win is whether there's a runoff or not, because obviously if there's a runoff, then that is 4 more weeks plus an additional week or 2 for certification and post-election processes, and so it can be a lengthy process, especially in cases where there's a runoff.
And with 2026 shaping up to be a major election year, we were told that it is expected that we're going to see more resignations as state lawmakers do seek higher office, Tom.
Yeah, Deidre, it's interesting because you got to wonder if, number one, these special elections are going to be a foretelling of what's to come in November of 2026. And it'll sort of be a good audition for the state, not that it needs one, but for running this big midterm election that's going to happen here in about 10 months, where some big seats, and I'm talking about the governor, the U.S. Senate seat, and many others to come. This is sort of a primer of sorts for what's to come in November.
Yeah, it certainly is, Tom. And of course, we've seen in a couple of local races here, statewide race, the PSC races just last year, and some other races here more recently where Democrats have favored well, have won races that they weren't going in expected to win. And that certainly has led to some enthusiasm, added enthusiasm for Democrats heading into the 2026 midterms. Also, at the same time, I did ask state election officials, with all of these special elections going on or in process in the works across the state, what impact that might have on these elections officials in their respective counties, how that might impact them when they're already looking ahead to the midterms, gearing up for those races. And then in addition to that, we're now seeing so many special elections being held. And I was told that they prepare for this. They're ready for this. Something something was said about they really enjoy their jobs, and so this is just something that they're used to and that they're ready for, and that may create more additional work in some sense as far as physical labor, but that this is something that they are prepared for and that they carry out frequently.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be watching what's to come here in the next several weeks and months with these special elections, especially, as you mentioned, the seat up in Northwest Georgia for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Deidre Dukes reporting live for us where you were at the Secretary of State's office. Deidre, thanks.